Everyone, today I'm going to record the 13th chapter of my novel Farishta. I'm very much thankful to all those people who saw my video and they increased my views and some of them they liked it as well. But the only one thing which is lacking that I need your precious comments. I would prefer those people who criticize it. So here we are, I'm going to start the 13th chapter. Anyway, the Chilas night was wonderful. We started with flash dance song, ended it up with physical relation. After that, wherever I went with my group, Susie was with me. We used to have separate rooms, but we used to sleep together. Sometime in her room, sometime in my room. When I sent my group back to France from Peshawar, I had to come back. Susie said, "If you don't mind, on the way back, can we stop at Taxila?" I said, can we stop at Taxila? I want to see that city because you have a lot of knowledge about Buddhism. I said, not a lot, but whatever I know, I would love to tell you. We stopped at Taxila. On the way back from Peshawar, we saw Taxila Museum. Then we went to see Sirkap and Julian University. At Julian archaeological site, there is a hut for Sir John Marshall. He was a British archaeologist. Like every tourist, I explained Susie as well, that place where you are standing and seeing Julian University in 1925, this place was like a mound. For 2000 years, people didn't know that underneath this mound, there are ruins of Buddhist monasteries. Sir John Marshall read the travelogue of Buddhist monks. Sir John Marshall read the travelogues of Buddhist monks Hian and Hiwan who came to these areas as pilgrims in olden days and mentioned about these monasteries. He found after reading their books that there are ruins of Buddhist monasteries underneath these mounds. Sir John Marshall lived in Tibet for many years. He found many maps there. When Susie came to know about these things, she got shocked. I told her further that Buddhist monks used to make their monasteries with stones and wood. Especially for roof, they used to use a lot of wood. When white Huns invaded Taxila, they burnt everything and ransacked the city. In short period, there was no Buddhist in this area. They crushed their civilization. Now there are no more white Huns, but these ruins tell you everything. Then I took Susie to Sirkap, where we were visiting. While we were visiting this site, I took her to small hill. It's called Kunala Stupa. This was built by Maharaja Ashoka in his son's memory, Kunala. So it's called Kunala Stupa. The story was like that. Ashoka had a beautiful wife and she was very young. As people say that she fell in love with Ashoka, fell in love with his stepson. When Ashoka found this, he thought his son is culprit. So he gave him punishment without knowing the truth. He ordered to gouge his eyes and should be killed. Later on, his wife told him that the truth, that it was my fault, and Ashoka felt very bad of his act, what he did. He was ashamed of that. So in his son's memory, he ordered to build Stupa. When Susie heard this story, she said, Greek dramatist Aristophanes has written a story which is exactly like this story. That story is 200 years older than this story. It's quite possible someone might have inspired of that story and he might have fabricated this tale. I said, it's possible. I have heard another story like this, which is related to Moses. In Moses' time, some lady committed same crime like this. So she said, since this world came into being, we are repeating the same stories, but narrators are different and audiences are not same. World is changed, but stories are still the same. After visiting Sirkap, we came back to Islamabad. She went to her home and I went to my tourist company, giving them report about group. Time passed like this. After 2 months, I found Susie's letter. There were photos of our trip, which I conducted with her. There was one postcard as well. On that, there was her Swiss address. Few lines were written on it. If you ever come to Switzerland, you will have to stay with me. I will show you beautiful places of Switzerland. Among those photos, couple of photos were not appropriate to our culture. I think my grandfather knew about my attachment with Susie. Maybe it was because of his famous saying, love and perfume you can't hide. One of my colleagues used to say that cough and dryness as well you can't hide. I, I and Susie knew the truth that among us there wasn't love stuff. We were just friends. We, we spent all nights together from Chilas to Peshawar. Susie told me that you can say anything to Swiss girl but never ask her about family and marriage. She will run away. I followed her instructions and never thought of proposing her for marriage. And even there was no need of it. I was sitting at Chilas railway station and was waiting for Lugano's train and I was thinking about Susie. I always remember those nights which we spent together. I used to feel the mist of those nights and memories, and even today that memories are fresh like yesterday. On Monday evening, we heard that someone rang our house bell. Unexpectedly, these words came out from my mouth. Who is this? It is quite late. Nyai suspected and said, might be landlord. Sometime he comes to check things in store. Anyway, Nyai answered on intercom, Kie, who is this? When he heard answer, he opened the door. Someone was coming upstairs hurriedly. When he opened the door and came inside, I got shocked. Saqlain Peripacker was standing in front of me. I said curiously, Saqlain Sahib, you at this time? He said, it's only because of you. I said, because of me? Yes, because of you. I brought second chapter of your story. If you have written next chapter, I would love to read. I said, it means you are enjoying my writing. You found it interesting. Interesting? It's a small word. I cannot sleep. I always think about story. What would be the next twist in the story? If it's like that, then I give you next chapter right now. But there is a condition that you will have to read all the chapters. I accept your condition. Naish was standing next to us and he was hearing our conversation. He said, Peripacker, everything is okay with you. Did my friend mesmerize you? Few days before you weren't even willing to speak with him, and today you have become greatest fan of him. Saqlain said, people are like books. If you don't open them and read them, you do not know them, what is written in them. My assessment about Farishta was wrong. Even I am from such department where you need where you meet different kinds of people. Everyone tells you a different story. They speak different languages. Therefore, we become expert in face reading, and we can easily tell what kind of person he is. In fact, it is not true. You can't judge person seeing his face and having little conversation with him. Farishta was hearing all this and he said, Saqlain Sahab, you still have time. It's quite possible that your judgment about me is wrong. Do not believe what I've written in that story. It might be a false story which inspired you, and you make up your mind about me. Farishta Sahab, truth is powerful thing, and lie can't sustain for a long time. This is your kindness. Farishta said this and went to his room to bring next chapter of his story. He took second chapter and gave him third chapter. Saqlain took third chapter and said, I should go now. Thank you very much. I hope you like my video. Subscribe my channel, press the bell icon, and I would love to see your precious comments. Thank you very much.